Hello, hello, hello. A little quick YouTube here on KROS and ARVN. As you probably saw, KROS has initiated strategic alternatives, and they are going to tell us within the next 60 days what the preliminary review is of those alternatives. Obviously, this is very good news, but I caution you to be excited until it's over, and I'll tell you why. We have no reason to believe that management or the board for that matter are good actors here and that they are going to end this strategic process with a full sale or liquidation. We're hopeful of it. And they mentioned in their press release that there is a over 11% holder they're aware of, and they're not referring to the 12% holder on the board, obviously. So they clearly know they have concentrated shareholders here, chunky shareholders that hopefully all want action. The math here is really simple, guys. It's a $17 in cash, and the Takeda deal is probably worth around $10 today. That's $27 in value for an $11.77 stock. If you assume a couple dollars are shaved off in cash burn and cost associated with a wind down, that still gets you to a $25 stock price. If you assume I'm being too aggressive with the Takeda deal, that gets you to the low 20s versus 1170. I very much still like KROS. I have not sold any stock, and this probably would be my favorite idea today from a risk reward standpoint, given today's announcement. Anything could happen with the world, complete chaos, destruction, famine, dogs eating cats, cats eating dogs, etc. And the math behind what I just told you is all still true. Even the Takeda NPV doesn't go down much because you're talking about a drug that's not going to be on market for years from now. So as long as there's a world left, I would think that that drug still has the same $2 to $3 billion peak potential sales. My friend Andrew Walker did a podcast on this yesterday. It's long, it's about 30 minutes. I would watch it, and I would encourage you to email the management team of KROS and tell them and the board that the only conclusion here is a sale or liquidation. A buyback or a dividend is not enough in this situation. The company needs to be shut down. So do your part, email the board, email management. You can guess their email addresses rather easily. It is, I'll tell you right now actually what they are. It is, for the CEO, it's his first name at KROSTX.com. And for all the rest of them, it's first initial, last name at KROSTX.com. So you could do the CFO, I did the IR guy, and I demanded them forward it to the board. I've sent many emails to them. ARVN, let's talk about that really briefly. I think there is a similar call to action with ARVN, and I urge you all to email management at ARVN and tell them they should immediately initiate a sales process, just like KROS did, and they should sell to Pfizer. If Pfizer is willing to go forward with the commercialization of their partnership drug, I believe the stock is worth well north of $20 a share in a sale. I think the stock is worth north of $20 a share just in a restructuring of their partnership. How do I get to that? Currently, ARVN has a $450 million market cap and $900 million in cash. I believe the Pfizer deal can be restructured for a few $100 million upfront and a 15% royalty. Maybe no milestones beyond that, but maybe also milestones. If they did that, you would then be left with the $1.2 billion in cash, a much lower cash burn. I assume the cash burn goes from $400 million to $200 million. You have a Pfizer deal that should have an NPV of north of $500 million, probably $1 billion. And then you have a Novartis deal with an NPV worth hundreds of millions of dollars, probably $500 million. If you assume each deal is just worth $500 million, though the Pfizer deal is probably worth closer to $1 billion, that's $1 billion in value there, plus $1.2 billion in cash. That is $2.2 billion in value versus a $450 million market cap. if you were to get to fair value of cash plus the NPV of those two deals, the stock would be worth 4 to 5 times its current value. That's valuing the pipeline at zero. In reality, the pipeline probably has a negative value, which is why I think conservatively in a restructured partnership, the stock doubles to a $900 million market cap versus the $1 billion, $1.5 billion value of the Pfizer and Novartis plus the $1.2 billion in cash. That would be trading at a more than 50% discount to its sum of the parts, even if it doubles from here. So I encourage you to email the management team of Arvinas and tell them to immediately start a strategic alternatives review and to sell the company to Pfizer, that there is no going concern value for their pipeline or their R&D machine, and the time is to do what's right for shareholders. Those email addresses are firstname.lastname@arvinas.com. You can go to their management page, and you can email the CEO, the CFO, the head of the business, the chief business officer, and you can email their head of investor relations. His name is Jeff Boyle. Jeff.Boyle@arvinas.com. Make yourself heard. You own these companies. They do not. So if you want to affect change, this is how you should do it. And with that, we're pretty fucked. Market is giving back more than half of what it made yesterday. There's not much reason to be optimistic about anything. Unfortunately, as I said on my last, as Dan calls it, hostage video, the glue is out of the paste is out of the tube, and you can't put it back. Toothpaste is out of the tube. How's that? And there's no putting it back. So our bonds are plummeting. We have to figure out an off-ramp with China. I have no idea how that works. And we are almost certainly going to go into a recession. So from a portfolio standpoint, you're not seeing me do much. I bought small 1.5% positions in 4 bios yesterday. They are RGNX, MLYS, JANX, and CGON. They're 1.5% apiece. They're not going to grow. I just wanted to do something because I think all 4 of those are super high quality names. I'm heavily leaning off of my biotech friends. And I had to do something. My biggest positions remain ARVN and KROS, and then to a lesser extent Sage, and then it steps down dramatically from there to PTGX, BBIO, and then it steps down dramatically from there. I've even trimmed WOW pretty aggressively over the last week because I have no confidence in any deals being done in this market. That is all, my friends. Stay safe out there. And email. And then, by the way, email them again 2 weeks from now. And then again 2 weeks from now. Don't let up. It's your money.